Hey guys, quick video today about how I set my expiry dates for packaged products and living products so I can sell them at the store. Let's go through it. I've got about 4 or 5 quick easy steps that I've done, and hopefully they can apply to you. Alright guys, first of all, you've got to establish the packaging you're going to use, okay? So these are 2 common packets I use, this one especially, the clear one at the supermarket. So that's the one I've really put focus on, but this one here is what I use at the market. So people buy that to put in their fridge at home, and I've got to give them an expiry date and sort of shelf life estimate on that. I've also got here a large punnet for the catering restaurants. I've got to give them some idea of how long they've got until they use it. And lastly, the living punnets that don't have a lid. You know, some people put them in the fridge, so I had to do all types of experiments. So first of all, establish your packaging, because then you're going to determine the amount you're putting in it, and then you can work on your expiry date from there, which we'll get into shortly. Alright folks, I'm going to try and run through this quick, but I really want to make sure I cover everything that I did and with as much detail as I can say, because it's quite important setting expiry dates, and it is a matter of life or death in some cases, so bear in mind. My fridge I set at its warmest, wrong word for fridge, but warmest setting, which sits around, when closed up and not opened like it is, around 7 to 8 degrees, and that is plenty because this fridge is only used on packing day and for a few hours until I load the eskies and off I go. But okay, so keep your fridge about that. Why I say that is because you're trying to simulate a store fridge, for example, with no display, a display fridge, but with no doors on it, just an air curtain of cold. Now, I've seen my local supermarket thermometer jumping around 7, 8 degrees, so I tried to simulate that by setting this standard here. So check the store you're going to first, ask them what are your fridge temps, and try and simulate that with your own. Next, take the packaging you're going to be using, make sure you've made up your mind on that, and fill, for example, this 50-gram supermarket punnet, fill 10 of them. Okay, this is a sacrifice, but it's vital. Fill 10 of them, and on each one put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. And what you're going to do from day 1, taste them. Day 2, you're going to open punnet number 2, taste it. How's it look like? Day 3, taste it. How's it look like? All the way up to 10. And I'll tell you what, by 7 days is when I found out that my product was just starting to lose that fresh look and its taste was starting to diminish, so that my expiry date is 6 to 7 days with this product, pending on the fridge's temperatures. It was only just starting to show signs on day 7, so I've called it, that's the best before date or use by date, and it should be removed from the shelf after that. Now that's the store punnet. This one is my market punnet. It's a total different scenario. I actually talk to the customer, I tell them, although I still write on there, used by 7 days, but I also say you can extend that shelf life by taking the microgreens out, drying them, putting them back in, or, you know, just generally looking after them. But I can do that at the markets. Here I cannot, because I will not see who's buying it. I won't personally interact with that person, so I have to basically be definitely sure how it's going to be. Just quickly on living products, if you're doing that, my living punnet, this is a purple Osaka mustard. This is a popular one for the restaurants I sell to, but I've left, you know, 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch of headroom in the punnet for the product to continue to grow, which then I can give the chef an expiry date of when it hits the roof of about 7 days. Typically, they're all used up by then. But if they're left out in the hot kitchen for the day, wow, they will take off, guys. That soil heats up and they start growing fast. So that's what I've done for them. I give them a little bit of headroom so it can continue to grow. Like this wheatgrass here, this is something I sell at the markets a lot, but I take it living, ready to eat at its youngest point. If that makes sense, if the buyer doesn't want to use it that day, that gives them time to grow their product for the next day. And you know, wheatgrass, if you grow it, it jumps up quick. So that will give them a living expiry date of who knows. And wheatgrass being cut and come again to a certain degree, they can have up to 2 weeks. So you would explain that to them. But that's how I mark expiry on my living products. Quick tip. if you change your packaging, you got to do it all again. If you add 5 to 10 grams more, you got to do it all again. So just bear that in mind, guys. If you even change your blend to a degree that may add more moisture, more anything that's not typically in it, you got to do it all again. So just reminding you, and yeah, look, it's pretty important to get your expiry dates good, hey, and it may take a couple of weeks of experimentation, because by setting a good, safe, expiry date offers safety and stability and confidence in your product to the consumer, okay? And I can't stress it more. It's just another thing you got to think about, and especially if you're selling wholesale to stores, etc. Now, I don't want you to run out and go and look at what your competitor's doing for shelf life. That can be a total accident waiting to happen, because that manufacturer or grower may be packaging in a different manner, in a different environment, cooling it down different ways. So it's got to be based on your own research. Do not use their expiry dates for a number of other reasons, but that's important. And also, you may do a 50-gram punnet like me, but they do a 60-gram punnet. You didn't notice that 60 grams, that extra 10 grams can alter things majorly down the long run, for the big picture of things. So there's a few things to consider. Hope I'm triggering your imagination with ways you could do it. I'm going to link the HACCP quick guide to expiry dates and setting that, which is an Australian thing, so it still applies to everyone all over the world. But anyway, that's my quick video about that. If you've got any questions, leave it below, and as always, get healthy, get tasty. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.